Recording and progress.
Yeah.
I did it.
Yeah.
Welcome to Frightening
Yeah.
Frauen. We are weird today. Hey, look, we're both redheads.
Yeah.
If you're on YouTube, you can see we're wearing our Halloween costumes. Well, Lee's just being Lee. That's what Lee normally looks like.
Yeah. It's variable, but it's always kind of in this ballpark.
And if you don't know who I am part of the chick from the Red Flags music video. And this is really bothering me. I'm taking out my lip ring. Um, keeps clinging against my teeth. I'm part of her costume when she's wearing her little mad scientist coat, and I made a couple videos today. But I have her other side with the red dress that I'm going to do later.
Nice.
I might not keep my sunglasses on all day. I wear my sunglasses at night. Oh, is it not going to let us put that in here? I think it could be less than a few seconds, then you're okay.
Oh yeah.
So, how how was your week?
Busy?
Yeah.
Yeah. Just moving is always a lot. It doesn't, it's always a lot. I got gloves on. Woohoo.
You look
Um
like you could commit some murders.
and the facial recognition might not work.
Exactly. That's why I have the sunglasses on and a lot of
So
contour.
So the AI facial recognition can recognize you with sunglasses or with a mask on. Like I was listening to a podcast about that the other day from this security person who was talking about the AI facial recognition software that's out there and the fact that we kind of associate like evilness with like Google and Facebook, but they actually started working on that tech in like 2010, 2011. They went, you know what? We're not going to put this out there. We're not going to be the ones to do that. They actually made the right decision. And then this other company came along and went, we don't give a fuck. And just started being like, hey, cops, you want to like look up some people? And so like the wrong people have been put like in holding and stuff while they have to figure out like, oh, that person just looks like that other person and stuff
I was
like
going to
that.
say that because one of my kids can get into my phone with the facial recognition. And I'm like, okay, so
Right. Yeah, so it's not a perfect thing and there's only a couple of states that have any sort of like laws that you could like California is one of them where you can contact the company and be like remove me from your database. Whether or not they do it is a whole other thing, but
yeah,
you
just like
know,
how on 23andMe you have to opt in to be part of the stuff for them to be able to, it's not necessarily for you, but for people to find people you're related to that committed
yeah.
crimes.
Yeah. I'm
I
like
I
okay with
did
that.
opt in. I opted
Me
in.
too. Yeah, me too. If you do crime, you do the time.
Well, because you most of them are like assault, like sexual assault crimes, and that
Yeah.
they're using it for, and cold cases that involved assaults. And so, yeah, if you murdered someone or assaulted them, you do the time.
Yeah, exactly. They don't usually look up like dumb stuff like stealing or
No,
whatever. So,
no. I did.
yeah.
Speaking of that, I had to go do my fingerprints again for my new job, and they're still the same fingers. So,
That's amazing. You didn't like grow new ones or anything? That's
no.
uh that's talent.
It was my third time being fingerprinted in the last 5 years for jobs. And
I,
one, I didn't even change like companies. I just changed positions and I had to get re-fingerprinted.
I've only done it once ever and that was when I became a notary.
Oh,
So,
did I do it then too? Because I became a notary. Maybe it was 4 times then.
yeah. But this was like 2001. It was so it's all expired and it's
Hmm.
been a long time. I'm sure the tech is different too.
Mine expires New Year's this year or coming up New Year's.
Yeah, I never turned my book in.
Are you supposed? Do you have to?
when you stop being a notary or it expires or whatever, like you're supposed to turn it in if you're not going to be using it anymore.
Hmm.
But I only had two signatures on there. I never my boss at the time I was working for a law office and he paid for me to go become a
Hmm.
notary and then he laid me off.
Oh,
So I never really I just used it like one of my buddies crashed his motorcycle and I had him sign the affidavit or whatever it is you're supposed to sign to say that I'm not trying to rip off the insurance company. I just, was an accident kind of thing.
that's
So,
funny. Working in the bank, I did almost every day. I had to notarize something, and it was the fun. Some of them were the funniest things. But I had one that they were notarizing a $5 loan.
wow.
Yeah, that they're gonna pay them back in a month.
Yeah. I did a personal loan with a friend and we got it notarized. Just, you know, we didn't even go through the bank. I just looked up like the legal stuff on how to like make a loan official so that like
Hmm.
she didn't get screwed over as easily or whatever. And then yeah, I just went to a notary and got it signed, but it was not for $5.
No, I'm like
It
five
was for a lot more.
dollars. It costs you that much to drive here.
Right. And then the signature costs more than that, right?
No, we didn't
So,
charge.
oh,
So
okay.
I could charge outside of the bank, but in the bank we didn't charge anyone who was a patron
Ah, that's
member. It
nice.
wasn't member. It's I don't know what we call them, customers.
Yeah.
Yeah, we called them members at the credit union.
Remember. Remember. Yeah, yeah. Oh,
Oh
members
goodness.
members are cool. Yeah.
They are cool.
There's, there's like a yard person outside and I have like tinted windows and my son said you really can't see in during the day, but I'm just kind of imagining that maybe he could see in and be like, eh. It's
Seeing a clown living in a
just sitting in an
trailer.
RV. Like with this like all this setup and stuff like, you know. I was like thinking about like because I have like this equipment, right? And like I have a police so I have like stuff, but it's all been given to me. Like like my webcam and my microphone, my friend gave it to me as like a birthday gift as a like here, let me help you get started with your podcast kind of
Yeah,
thing. And so it's like I was just thinking about it the other day because I was like, people might look and be like, well, you have stuff, so you must have money. No, I
that's not
just
how that works.
I got people looking out for me.
Same with like you may have had money before, but that doesn't mean you have it now either because like me working and when the mortgage industry was great and everything, I had money and now and stuff and I have a house that people who live outside of this area may think is expensive, but it was not. But it's people look at me and I feel so bad like even because like I got on food stamps for a little bit right now while I'm waiting for my job to start and I feel bad because I'm like I live in a 6 bedroom house and like all this stuff but I lost my job like I need food like it's I've been
Right,
paying into it we pay into it we should be able to use it and
right.
I don't know I just getting over it in my head of like how it looks to other people.
That was like when I started the fundraiser, I felt that way because like, but the thing is like all the stuff that I have that I did buy, like my car and my desk and stuff, were all like investments. Like I sold my house and I went, I'm going to put this much amount of money into my well-being. So I'm going to have a reliable car. I'm going to have
Yeah.
like an ergonomic desk and and that was a choice that I made, but
And
it
I don't
wasn't.
feel like those are luxury items either.
Yeah. Yeah, having a desk that doesn't hurt, like what?
What?
Yeah. And having a car that like because my doctor's appointments are 2 hours away that
Hmm.
doesn't hurt me when I'm sitting in it. Well, it hurts, but it doesn't hurt as much as other cars,
Yeah.
you know? Yeah.
My car broke.
No.
So my only,
Why?
okay, one of my cars is stuck in Colorado right now. I have to go get it. That's my Jeep. My Mercedes that I was about to sell, driving it home the other day, it just all of a sudden wasn't working.
Like no
So
power?
No, it wouldn't go over 20 miles an hour. So
Huh.
I need someone to look at that. I can't, if it wasn't a Mercedes, I could try to figure it out. But
Yeah.
I can't even
That's
check,
interesting.
you can't even check fluid levels in it. It doesn't have a dipstick. You have to take it in for them to check the levels for you. So I'm like, is it overheating? Like it didn't look like it was overheating. I don't know. I was just driving it home. And so
Yeah.
I only have my CRV, which is a manual, and going to get my hip surgeries. I'm not even supposed to drive a manual for 8 weeks after my surgery. So I don't know what to do. And I'm hoping that I can get the other car working. I'm supposed to not drive for 4 weeks after surgery, but I have to go to work on Tuesdays.
Yeah.
So, and we don't have public transportation here. And it's about
There's
to be,
nobody.
oh,
Maybe you can make friends with somebody at work that could pick you up or something.
yeah. I hope that would probably be the best because then they could drop me off by the front so I could use my wheelchair because it's about to be icy outside and parking
Yeah.
and all of that in a wheelchair is not going to be fun.
Yeah. And then you wouldn't want to be walking on that with crutches or anything like that. Just no.
No,
I slipped and fell in the snow once and put my back out like real bad. It was like took like weeks to sort it
no.
out. It was awful. I don't like it. I'm really glad it doesn't do that here because I don't like it.
Yeah, it's really bad. It gets to, so the coldest it's gotten while I've lived here, which hit records. I don't know if it was an overall record or just record for that month or day, but -70 with the wind chill. And it was -40 something, like actual temperature.
That's like stay inside unless you have a heater to wear on your face so that your lungs don't freeze
We didn't
temperatures.
get mail. Like they wouldn't, and
Yeah.
I don't blame them. Like they said, if you want your mail, come to the post office and pick up your mail. Everything was closed for like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
It was so bad. And I did, for the first time, I threw boiling water out and made snow.
Wow. I've never heard of that. That's cool.
It was, I have a video of it. I'll send it to you. But yeah,
And
it
it
was
had and it
cool.
had to be boiling because it would freeze before you dumped it
Hmm.
out otherwise, right?
Hmm. So yeah, I went straight from boiling water, poured it in a coffee mug, and then like threw it outside. It was just snow. And
I'm
that
trying to imagine like trying to keep the RV warm in that. Like you'd have to like wrap it up in something. That's
when my heat went out in Colorado was the first time during the year that it was in the negatives, or the only time I think it was in the negatives. And it was so cold. And I felt like inside it felt better than outside because there was no wind, but it was so cold. Like I had the kids and myself just all in the blanket together. And then I was pet sitting and I asked them if I could take my pets and my kids to their house because I didn't want us to die.
yeah.
So I brought the lizard's whole cage and everything like to their house and just set the pets up in the bathroom. And I was like, you don't need to tip me, just like let us stay here for the 2 days that I'm pet sitting for you. And my Jeep stopped working, or it the battery went out because it got so cold. And so my Jeep wouldn't start either. So I had to Uber over there with my pets and like hope that they were okay with
Wow. It's kind of scary. I'm
that.
glad I'm glad you had somewhere to go though. But
Yeah, and I had my backup heater, so I had the propane, but I didn't have my car, so I couldn't go and refill the propane and it had just run out. And so I brought the tank with me and had the Uber person on the way back stop and have me run in and fill up. I tipped really well because I was like, this, I feel so bad right now.
yeah,
And I'm thankful. Yeah, adventures and coldness in RVs.
right. Yeah. I know it was like 54 when I got up. It was probably colder than that before I got up because I got up at like 9 because it was too cold before that. I was like, I don't want to get up.
I don't
And then
blame you.
yeah. Those snuggies though, they work really well.
Hmm. I want one. I don't have one, but I want
I
one.
I got it as a Christmas present from my ex-mother-in-law a couple years ago, and every year it comes out for winter time because it's, it's way too warm the rest of the year, but it's perfect in the winter.
When I lived over there, it's funny because I would get cold. And now in the winter, when it's the temperatures that I felt cold there, if I'm in like a tank top and shorts.
Yeah. The acclimation thing. That's why I get annoyed like on online when people are like making fun of other people for being intolerant or whatever because we acclimate
Yeah,
physically and it's all perspective. So, it's you can't really compare. It's
no.
just
And when I went back, I still got cold because I feel like it's a different kind of chill because you're right on the ocean and it's breezy all the time. And so you're getting that wind chill and the temperature drops so much from the day to the night there that it always feels cold at night to me unless it's the middle of summer.
yeah, like yesterday it was 70 during the day or 70 like 3 and then it was low 40s. It was like 42 was the
That's a
lowest,
that's a
you
huge
know?
change.
Yeah. So and the body goes, whoa.
I don't like this.
Yeah.
Uh,
Too fast. Yeah, I do feel like when I go other places that have like different types of humidity and stuff like that, it makes like a big difference in terms of like how it feels and
mhm.
impacts me and stuff. Like I do better with dry heat
Yeah.
than humid heat. Like humid heat, I can get heat sickness pretty easily. Um, and then but when you have humidity at lower temperatures, it tends to feel a little warmer. It's not as, biting.
Hmm.
And
Yep.
yeah.
And then once it gets to a certain temperature, it all feels the same.
Yep. Once it gets cold enough.
Oh, and I did get used to it faster than I thought I would moving here, but it'll be in the negatives for months at a time, like without getting above zero. Fahrenheit, guys, Fahrenheit, since we have all countries here and we're weird and use Fahrenheit.
Yeah.
So that's even colder than zero. Um, and then I think at 40, negative 40 Fahrenheit and Celsius are the same,
I don't remember.
something like that.
I know they meet somewhere around there, but I just don't remember.
But yeah, it'll get to the negative 30s and 40s for a while here, and I'm not ready.
That's scary. That just sounds scary. It sounds so intense, and you rely so much on like infrastructure and stuff to be like safe in
Yeah,
weather like that.
yeah. That's why I'm glad the house is like really well insulated because the heat did go out a couple years ago during the winter and it stayed about 30 degrees warmer in the house than outside, which was still really cold, but
Yeah,
that's cold. And I didn't go up in the attic because that was really cold. And the basement always stays warm. So it's usually the same temperature all year. It's about like 65 if you don't have any heat going. So we just kind of go down there.
yeah. Hang out down there, it thaw out. I
Yeah.
uh I need like one of the things I want to do with the RV is like rip the underbelly out, and that means removing all the insulation and stuff. And so I've been researching like different types of insulation that I can put in there and stuff just to, keep it weatherized as
Hmm.
much as you can for like a thin box, but also maybe something that's not so attractive to mice. Um, because
If I could redo my insulation, I would do what I was originally going to do and use marine insulation. It doesn't attract rodents as much. It's thicker. It also takes the moisture away from the walls, and so you don't have that mold issue.
yeah,
So that was my biggest thing is rust and mold, and marine insulation is the best for preventing those.
I should look into that. I was reading them, but I kept getting information on house insulation. I was like, well, that doesn't work. Like hemp is really good because mice hate it. So in a house, you either do the blown in kind, which they will not nest in, or hemp they also don't like. But the issue is like with hemp, I couldn't use that because if it ever got wet, because just
Mm,
it's just sitting on a mesh layer. Um, it stops being as effective when it's wet.
That makes
Um,
sense.
yeah. So, but yeah, I'll look at the marine stuff because that
It's
might be an option.
it's not the same texture. It's more foamy and thick,
Yeah.
but of course, because it's marine, so you don't want it to be porous.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's if I redo it ever, that's what I'm gonna do.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
So
pretend
many
I know
things.
things.
You know some things, and I know some things, and then combined, we know some more things.
Yeah. And
Things.
being in so many of the RV groups that I'm in, I learned that the same thing really does not work for everybody. It depends on how you're going to use it. Um, and I don't know, like climate
Yeah.
wise, because I go to a lot of cold places, so I need better, like good insulation for cold. And some people travel for the heat and they need good insulation that's going to keep them cool.
Yeah. I mean, if you get really good insulation, it's good at both.
Hmm.
But yeah, um,
Or
I'm a
dry
big
or
fan
wet.
of, yeah, the dry and the wet would be like a big one. I'm a big fan of like preventative and like weatherizing and like, so, the RV tech guy was like, well, you could just pull the underbelly off and just not put it back on. And then you won't have to worry about mice like nesting in there. And I was like, then I won't have insulation. And what happens if I transport the RV and a rock bounces up and hits like one of my tanks or something? Because that's
Yeah.
all open to the air there. I was like, how about no? Do the extra work, and I was like, I will find insulation mice don't like, and I'll just use that. You
Yeah.
know,
I wonder if you did like a layer of hemp and then the other insulation, if they would still not like it
I don't know.
or sprinkle it in.
Yeah. They'd probably just avoid the one layer and go for the other. But I was thinking like worst case, like I didn't look at okay, marine stuff didn't come up at all. But there's that insulation that looks like bubble wrap,
Yeah, yeah.
but it's not.
I
I was
use
almost
that on my
thinking
windows.
yeah, I was thinking about I could always just do a couple layers of that. Or there's some beefy versions of that and just do that if
That
I
makes
can't find
sense.
anything better. I am going to do it for the windows. I have it on my wish list.
Hmm.
So if I and I got I added like little Velcro buttons to my wish list as well, and so I can just like Velcro it up when I need it, and then pop it off
Oh,
as
that's a great idea.
that,
Ah,
and then I'll just it's just there. I still want to put the blinds back up, so I'll have both. But the blinds are good for privacy, and they are insulated. They do work, but I want more insulation.
yeah. I like that idea. Now I'm thinking about my RV
I
because
just was like,
I,
what's going to keep it, especially with a cat, like
Mhm.
what's going to keep it up there? And then I can just pop them off when I don't need them and put them in storage and then pop them out when the weather needs it again. And
Yeah, because I had my insulation. I think I talked about this before, but my insulation was up and I didn't do the siding over the insulation yet because I wanted to see if there were any issues with moisture or anything before I did that. So it was just the insulation and my cats were clawing at it. I'm like, stop it.
yeah, monsters. Yeah, I think I send you the picture of Amos climbing the Valance.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, he's been like he just bolts from one end to the other of the RV going and then he like jumps at the Valance and like grabs them, and I'm just like, oh, what happens when I remove those, because there's not going to be anything for you to grab. He's probably going to try it once and fail miserably and be like, oh,
That's,
she took my toy
yeah,
away.
yeah.
If they weren't so hideous, I would leave one for him, but I can't abide.
No. Yeah, Fiona is so lazy. Like she likes to be high, but she doesn't like climbing all over things. But MILF Potato, that's the little acrobat. And although MILF Potato's been kind of lazy the last few days, maybe it's the weather changing and it's been rainy. But, yeah.
I'm uh I'm low key worried that there'll be noise going into the mic when I touch the table, but I'm hoping the arm will
I don't hear
settle
it
that.
on my end.
Yeah, I'll test it later and make sure, but because I fidget too much. I was gonna show the balance. I can move
Yeah,
my camera
show
and then people
us.
can see.
Show us the
Eh,
RV.
oh, there we go. These- they look like curtains, but they're actually like solid wood blocks with um like cushioned stuff on them. They're I you know, yeah, I one of my TikTok friends was in the area recently and he helped move on Sunday, which was awesome. And he comes in, he goes, "Oh, those are wonderful." And I was like, "No, they're not."
I will say though, so I have a friend. His name's Ian Watson.
Watson.
Watson. And I'm sure he does not listen to my podcast, but he converted a coach bus into an RV. And those would actually go really well in his coach bus because it's very like late 1800s, early 1900s, the way he does decorated it and designed it and everything. And it's very cool. And those would probably go well in there.
Yeah. I like aesthetic stuff when it's in someone else's space,
Mhm.
but when it's my space, I like very simple, clean lines and just I don't really like even like the wood color on the like all there's so much wood color in here and I find it like oppressive. It's like too much.
Are you gonna like cut whatever,
Paint.
cover it or paint
I
it?
might I might eventually I have like too many repairs that need to be done that cost money for me to really think about that, but there is like wood paneling. And I was thinking about painting that at some point and then I was thinking about painting over the wallpaper because I think that would like clean it up and it might make the wood more tolerable if the rest of it isn't this sort of dingy off white color.
True.
Um so yeah, so I was thinking about doing that in here, just do like a good bone white. And then in the back, I was thinking about doing like a light blue in the bedroom.
I like blue. Blue
I
is
like
happy.
I did like an accent wall in my house when I had a house and it was blue, like Cookie Monster blue, and it was awesome because it was like a really high ceiling. So
Hmm.
I really liked the way it looked.
That's similar to the color I did in the kitchen. Not my main kitchen, but the one in the basement. I did it like blue and white, like grease, and it's Cookie Monster blue for sure.
Nice. It's biscuit blue, like my puppet.
Oh yes,
and and I named him Biscuit because like that's the UK word for cookie.
I love it. So dignified.
His eyes, woo.
I'm wearing shorts, guys. So if you see my, I can't sit still. My hips are
My
getting mad.
my friend found some clowny costume. Woo. What was I saying?
See, now you guys have to go to YouTube.
Some clowny shoes for me. She's gonna send them to me. So and I want to they're big and like yeah, they'll match this, but I want to wear them with something sexy.
Yes. Oh, I
So it
love it.
just does not work at all. Like I don't ever want to wear them with the right thing.
Oh my gosh, this makes me happy. I'm imagining. You'll get the foot fetish people.
Yeah. I like, Fridays are Foot Friday on my OnlyFans, and I don't really have like foot fetish people, but I do it anyways because it's interesting to me to take pictures of my feet. I have a foot aversion. I like,
Hmm.
so it's an interesting challenge for me.
It's funny because I don't feel like I have foot fetish people on mine, but at the poll at the top of mine, a big chunk of them said they wanted more pictures of feet.
Oh,
But no one ever likes or comments on them. So I'm assuming the people who want that are the ones who are just watching.
Yeah, maybe there's like a shame component to it because it's culturally there's so, never mind the fact people with foot fetishes literally don't have a choice. It has to do with brain wiring and the fact that that stuff is so close to the sex wiring area. So like
Yeah.
it's just a miswiring and you can't do anything about it. So just embrace it,
Nope.
have fun.
Yeah, exactly. I have no problem with them liking my feet.
Yeah.
I'll never see them that way.
Yeah. And like as long as they don't expect me to like their feet, I'm all good. That's really like the boundary in making content in general. That's when I get like annoyed with people is when they want when I'm sharing, you can enjoy what I'm sharing, but then they want to share back, and I'm like, no, that's not what we're doing. Like it's very one-sided for me. I'm not like, I don't want pictures in return. I don't want to see your feet. I
They
don't,
have to pay me to send me pictures.
exactly. Well, even then, I'm not sure. I guess it depends on how much they offered. But I
Yeah.
had someone subscribe and then they unsubscribed after I said I didn't want pictures of them like pleasuring themselves. And I was like, we're not in a
Okay, go find
relationship. I'm not
someone else.
interested. Yeah, exactly. Bye.
I don't get it very often, but I've gotten quite like over the years that I've done it, I've gotten a few that have asked me, and they always ask first, which I've never had anyone on there not ask first.
Same.
Um and I appreciate that. And majority of the time I've said yes and then sent my price list. Like if you want me to review it, I'll review it for you. It's going to be 25 bucks.
Yeah. I just straight up was like, look, I'm asexual and
Yeah.
you want me to look at something that's going to do absolutely nothing for me because I'm not connected to you. And so, and I'm not a lot. I can't
Yeah.
demure. I can't fake it, right? And be like, "Oh, that's so hot." Like it just I can't, you know.
Great.
Um
Grayson and I, the person I record or yeah, did the interview with this morning, which we'll post before this. So the doll girl, we were talking about lying and like faking it and stuff too. And I was talking about how you and I don't like doing that very
yeah.
much.
I can't. I mean, it's I know sometimes people's egos like are looking for certain things and I'll just straight up be like, "I'm sorry, but I'm not wired that way. You're going to get a very authentic reaction from me." And if you don't know how to read that to get what you need, like I suggest you go away, like because I can't, you know.
Oh, wait, my camera didn't go on. There we go. That was perfect, actually. Sorry, guys. We take pictures sometimes for you. No, yeah, no, totally. It's not gonna be for me, I can play a character. So that's a little bit of a difference is I can get into a character and be that person. And I think it's because I was taught to mask so much growing up that I can get into, I compartmentalize into that box.
Yeah, I can see you when you do that in your content and I find it's like it makes your content very fascinating to me because like I cannot do that, but I can literally see that you're in a different gear and you've put a mask on. And I sometimes I wish I could do that because I feel like if I could do that, sometimes when I would like to give people the interaction that they're seeking, and I can't, it would be nice to, but I literally when I try, I get the anxiety is it's awful. So I
Yeah,
just
not worth
yeah.
it.
Yeah.
You do it a little bit though, not necessarily in any speaking type role, but like in some of your content that you make. And I feel like you do it well when you do put a face on, like a legit like clown mask, clown makeup on, and you're able to get into a character or do like there's
Well, like,
your
I'm
facial
really
expressions
careful.
change.
Yeah. But I also think my facial expressions are accented with the makeup, so it's not as because like, I was watching my RV noob stuff, and I make a lot of the same faces, and they're just not as noticeable without the makeup, but, uh But I actually like when I select sounds, they have to align with how I feel and think about things. I can't like I've done a few videos where the sounds were not really how I feel or not really how I think about things. And I posted them and I was anxious and so uncomfortable afterwards. So like there's still it's still, you know, even there, like I'm be careful. I am more like physically expressive.
Hmm.
Um, but I used to be like that. I think we talked about that. I used to be like that all the time, and then it's just guarding my energy. So I actually plan I'll have a couple of rest days before I make content, knowing that I'm going to expend all this energy, and then I have a couple rest days after.
That makes
Um,
sense. And
and as
yeah.
my battery is getting a little better, like over the last couple of years, I've become more expressive on average, which is nice. Like it feels a little
Mhm.
more like me, but
Yeah. Alan was listening to one of your episodes today. I think it was episode oh, I forget which
21.
one. 21. I think it was episode
Yeah.
about going to the bath about the toilet.
Yeah.
And he wrote me, he's like, I'm loving this episode. This is probably my favorite one. So
I don't even remember what I say in my episode, so I don't. What about the toilet? What was it?
but let me see. Because he's like, do you think that she'd be okay with me sending her a message saying this? I'm like, I don't know, but I could tell her because I know that you're coming across nice. So
Yeah.
Alan, I hope
He
you don't mind me saying it in this.
he left a comment on my Patreon saying that the episode he was like laughing a lot and stuff. And I love like seriously like to anybody who's ever like, I would like to say something to Lee, but I'm not sure. I love all input. I am like
Okay.
fascinated by other people's like perspectives and stuff because like I actually will take that information and add it to what I'm doing and it helps me see myself from the
Mhm.
outside.
He
So,
said that he felt like on your Patreon, I think it was on your Patreon. I'm not sure which form of social media is like. I feel like she felt comfortable out of her mask talking to me a little bit, and I don't know if she'd be offended by me saying that, but it felt good. And I was like, oh, I was like, I don't know, but I don't know what's offensive or not.
yeah. I would say my response to that would be that he hasn't talked to me enough to get a sense of what my average
Hmm.
personality is like. So he probably got me at like this one moment and then and then over time it would become a rounded thing of like, oh, okay, there's this and there's that. And yeah. I don't mask that much like anymore in that, in a way that really changes.
Yeah.
It's just my moods or my energy levels or
Yeah, he's pretty good. Like we have a little bit different like political views and stuff, but they're not like polarized, but just different. And we've had some tiffs in the past because I am not good at like pretending or being like, oh, let's meet in the middle. No, I don't agree with you on that.
yeah.
We've gotten some tiffs, but we always get over it. I think we've been talking for like 2.5 years, 3 years now, and we met on TikTok, I think.
That's
But yeah,
cool.
he's cool.
Yeah, he seems really nice. Like we haven't talked that much yet, but I really appreciate that he takes the time to listen and then actually like comments on stuff. Like that's like I don't think people realize how powerful that is, you
Oh,
know?
totally. Because when we feel like we can see that people are watching or people are at least have it on and seeing it or
Yeah.
views or different things, but we don't know how people are receiving it. Like, are they hating it? Is that why they're watching? Are they
Yeah.
are they
That's
just
that like walking
indifferent?
in a room where everybody's staring at you and nobody like emotes. That's what it feels like sometimes, and it can be like it means that we have to rely on our own interpretations of our whatever we made to
Yep.
keep motivating ourselves. And sometimes that can be really, really hard. Like, like getting the comments on OnlyFans is like so much. Like
Huge.
I'm so excited to start making content again. Whereas before I was kind of thinking about quitting. And now I'm like, oh, I'm getting comments. This is awesome. I want to do more. Um, and I got some requests that a couple months ago, and I've been like, they're sitting there in my brain just percolating until I'm in a situation where I can do them, and which will be soon.
Yes.
I got to figure out how to coordinate hand puppets with Saucy.
Saucy. Now I want to make some lingerie for them. I think I could sew that because it wouldn't have to be perfect.
Yeah, I do. I have two hand puppets that their eyes are too weird to use on TikTok videos, so I'm just saving them for taking pictures for that request. And they're literally like socks with like big heads with big brown mouths and eyes. So they should be fun.
Our guest that we're about to record with is texting me, and I was just like, "Don't be alarmed, we're in costume." So yes, we will have this episode, and then we're gonna wrap this one up here shortly, and we're gonna have another one that we're recording in our same outfit. So don't be alarmed. We're not wearing them 2 days in a row because that's gross, right? So gross.
I wear my clothes for days
I
on
know.
end.
I
Like
do
what?
too.
And that's why I only do a load of laundry a week. That's it.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so I have her email address here. So yeah, we'll spend the next 5 minutes wrapping up here, and then we're gonna record some more with a guest. Her name's Kayla. Oh, oh my gosh, Kayla. Kayla. I hope I'm saying that right. We're gonna have her say her name. It's spelled it's spelled different. Okay. But we appreciate you guys, and we did this little impromptu before recording with her episode for you guys so that we can have a little fun and be in our costumes, and we'll probably be in costumes again and maybe on Monday.
Yeah.
I have 4 costumes I can wear. I'll wear the other side of this one. I'll wear the like red dress.
Oh yeah. Be saucy.
Salsa. And yeah, so but yes, I as always, we really, really appreciate you, the support that we've gotten on Patreon, on different social medias that we're trying to get better about posting on, uh on here, on
Speak.
TikTok.
I'm like, speak for yourself.
I
Like
know, I'm so bad. Lee's like, hey, look at this thing I posted on Twitter, X.
X.
And I'm like, oh my gosh, I haven't been on there in like 2 weeks. I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
Then I go on and repost all of Lee's stuff. That's my whole page. That's good. Follow us on Twitter, X,
Yeah,
TikTok.
I try to post different stuff everywhere. There's a little overlap, but like
Mhm.
so there's a reason to follow me in each place.
Yes, exactly. It is different. And I made a Facebook page, and I have sent a link out to a lot of people, but I have not been good about going on there either. I need to make you a moderator on there.
Yeah, I my Facebook's probably my weakest one because it's tied into my Instagram, so it's literally just cross-posted, but
Yeah.
nobody engages there. So that's why I used to make posts there, but nobody engages, and it's not worth my time if
Yeah,
no
and
one's going to
that's
see
my
it anyway.
issue is it's so slow going on there, where other like forms of social media like Instagram and TikTok, people have automatically gotten engaged with it. Where I've tried to post like, what's your favorite dinosaur and stuff on there, and everyone's like, yep, just like that. See,
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
I had cricket sounds in my head. Sorry.
Yeah. 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 And then like I finally saw your post probably like a week later and I was
Yeah.
like you're my favorite dinosaur.
Oh. And then it's so sucky because we're some guests that we're going to have on that we're going to collaborate with. We're going to be on their podcast and they're going to be on ours. And I believe that was on the 12th of November is when we're recording with them. I'd have to double check.
It's on my calendar.
But so they have a Facebook group, and they had to do so much promoting to get movement on it. And then they finally, after they had 1,000 followers, it started growing and getting more interactive. But it took a lot. And I'm like, I don't know if I have the energy to do what they did to grow that.
Yeah, if it's not organic, it's just not going to happen for me. So,
And I've already done so much to promote the podcast in general.
yeah.
Promoting another page for the podcast is a lot. And I already have
Yep.
Twitter and Instagram and TikTok, and
Yeah. It seems like the promoting works though, like because you have enough of a outreach, like enough outreach isn't the right word, but you have enough people
I have
to
long
connected.
arms.
Yeah. So that's like been working. And I always post stuff and like repost. I post for mine too, but nobody ever sees it. It's
Yeah,
weird.
yours,
Like,
I need to start posting yours more because I see yours days later that have to do with your GoFundMe or your podcast. And so I'm like, why? I see your other posts and
yeah,
so
it's
they're
like
definitely like suppressed for some reason.
it's the algorithms everywhere just don't like me. They.
You're the redheaded step clown.
Yep. Yep. Redheaded step clown.
But thank you guys. I should get off here so I can send her a link real quick. We're texting right now, so I know she's ready. And we will see you shortly on the other episode, a week later for you guys. But for us, it's right away.
Bye bye.
Bye.